my story. So we're into my story. I gotta hurry up. So basically, you heard my background. I grew up loving to work on things and take things apart. I was in a family of 7 people, or 7 kids, so there was always something to do. My father owns Hobbs Steakhouse. I don't know about Hobbs, but I worked there when I was 3rd grade, washing dishes by hand, and probably this much silverware at the bottom on the weekends. He didn't work me during the week when we were. But you learn to work hard. So you work hard, you have your own money, you learn your independence. I think that's, we all have a different story to tell, and there's always something to be learned. But I was going into the 4-year path and going to U of E for chemistry. Different things happened. I ended up working at Mead Johnson. I ran analysis on the equipment, but I really liked working on the equipment when it broke down versus running the analysis. So they had an internship program at Mead Johnson, but you need to pass tests. So I went to school at Ivy Tech in electronics, industrial electronics at the time, and I really loved it. It was like another language. Now I would have never went there. I was always in the biology, chemistry, most math you can take side, and I would have never went into the technical side. And the technical side is different now. It's not just rebuilding engines or making something out of wood, but it's also from Project Lead the Way. I'm a big proponent of Project Lead the Way. It's about skill sets that you can, high-level skill sets. I've seen kids, 5 patents come out of high school a couple years ago. It's something that they can learn and apply to many different things that they want to do in life. And even if you want to go on the manager side, I always tell them, get a skill first. No one can take that skill away from you. Get a skill. And how much time do you spend as a parent talking about their education and working on developing their skill and developing their learning versus all the time we spend on sports. So it's really sort of messed up. And I love sports. I'm a big sports fan. I'm glad Peyton Manning won. But I worked with Southern Union Career and Technical Center to show parents that if you want to go into like Project Lead the Way, it's an elective. And I know that school, the state requires certain things, so it's very difficult for the kids to take these electives. But please, please look at how they can take these electives. They have biomedical. You have, I've went through everything that Southern Union Career and Technical Center does. I've went through Project Lead the Way in a lot of the high schools, and it's amazing the skill sets that come out there. Amazing. So that's my plug on that one. But as I went through, I got into an internship program at Mead Johnson only because I started going down the path of industrial maintenance. And through that, I grew up into the maintenance program at Bristol Myers, and I was into like assistant manager level, leading projects for engineering and for maintenance. And I had several people working for me, probably up to 50 people at that time. But we did a lot of cool things. And if you would have asked me when I was in high school, what was I going to do, I would have never said I was going to do that, ever. So I think you have to expose them to different opportunities. You have to expose them to things that they can do, including women. Because most people don't grow up, boys or girls, working on their cars anymore. It's all technical. You can't even work on it. It's a black box. I have a son that's a master tech for BMW. I don't know why BMW, he's not good. But, so you have to really think about how are they getting skill. We have to teach them that skill. So this is something that, for the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, like I talked about, it's like a race for technology right now. We have to figure out how we're going to do that in the school system. Because we're not getting it at home like we used to. Unless you're a farmer, you may be getting it. But other than that, you're not getting a lot of it. So going through Bristol Myers, when I came to Toyota, I really came here for opportunity and for job security. And when I came, I took a $400 a week cut pay. And I came and I really started all over again. I started down at team leader level, and I was starting all over. And I worked my way back up because I wanted to learn the floor, and I wanted to understand how things work. So I feel like that there's opportunities that we have to provide those type of opportunities to many people to understand what they want to do with it. I went into production after that. I did maintenance, production. I've been on new model. I was in press and weld for most part of my career, and then went into assembly. There's so many opportunities to learn. It's an ongoing learning activity at Toyota or other manufacturing. Because even at Presto, you're always learning. Even at manufacturing, you're doing and you're learning. So my biggest request to you guys is, we cannot, I hate to see kids come out of college with a huge student loan and no skill. I have a daughter-in-law that was told to go down a certain path in the medical administration portion of it. She has no skill and 4-year degree, and she's making $25,000 a year. Our team members make, with overtime, 60, 65,000, something like that. So, and then they have the opportunity to grow in their career. So it's not that I have many people in my family and who I'm around that pharmacists. My mother was a practitioner. She had two or three masters. I love education. I love it. I love learning. But we're missing a lot of kids. And those kids can really be more productive if they know the value they can add in their life. And that's really what I'm about. It's just making sure that we're touching all of them. I think that we have the 4-year degree covered. It's the other portion that we don't, and that's why I speak so much about that portion. So anyway, I need to turn this over to Carrie. We're going to answer questions, I think, at the end. But his story is extremely inspiring to me. He came to Toyota, and he is one of our assembly team leaders in skilled maintenance. He literally helps us run every day. We have a 96% rate of operation, so that means you can only have 4% of downtime to meet your target every day. That's, 18 minutes? So when you go out there and you see all the equipment running, you can only have 18 minutes downtime, and half that needs to be for the team member. They need to pull the end on. So tremendous job that he does for supporting us. But he has a great story, very inspirational, and I want to leave some time for him to come up and talk. So, Carrie Butler, come on up.
So I was getting ready to say some other things like, amen, thank you, Jesus, because I'm a preacher, so if those things slip out, y'all got to forgive me, I guess. So, and I'm still looking at that. They got a contest here every first of the year after holidays. We call it the Biggest Loser contest. So I've lost 15 pounds, hopefully. I can see the difference, I don't know. So I'm from Henderson, Kentucky, born and raised in Henderson, Kentucky. And I don't want to make it too sobby because there's a lot of people out there I know that's gone through a lot of things that I've gone through. And sometimes when you think about your past, it kind of lowers yourself. But high school, is there teachers here? Teachers. I had one teacher that really helped me the most. And this is what I really want to try to get across, is teachers. Especially when my dad was killed when I was 2 years old. He was out in the streets fighting, blah, blah. And someone shot him dead. And so it was just me, my mom, and my sister, 4-room house. We was raised on welfare. So I'm one of those little welfare child. And I could tell a lot of stories. Say a lot of things of my upbringing and the things I went through. But my one teacher that I really held on to really helped me a lot. I would not be here if it wasn't because of that teacher. Because she treated me right. It wasn't just me, it was the whole class. She treated everybody right and everybody equally. She didn't care. She made it fun. She made it entertaining. She pulled you in. She kept you in. Motivational, you know. And without her, I don't even think I would be here because of my algebra. It was an algebra class. I don't think I would be here because you need math to do the things that we do. And I am in maintenance here. I've been in maintenance since I started back in 1998. That put me on, I don't like to be put on the spot, but the earliest time that I can remember on what I wanted to do was when I was in Henson, of course. They used to, the city had this kind of a program called the Summer Youth Program, and it was for all the poor people in the city. And they would literally pick up all the kids in buses, and they would literally take us to certain places for like a little job. And what we was doing was learning trades. They took us to Henson County vocational school and let us learn all kinds of trades like typing, and because that's one thing I liked, but at that time frame it's considered girly, so I didn't take it. But I really liked typing. I wish I had took it now. But I remember that. I remember wiring up houses. They showed us how to wire up houses. So when I did that, I'm talking probably around 12 years old. That's when I really knew what I wanted to be growing up. Without that summer youth program and putting me in that kind of an atmosphere, I wouldn't have recognized what I wanted to be. So when they showed me how to do all these electrical things, I said, man, this is what I would like to do. You know, and right here at Toyota is about as close as I've gotten. And so I took an electronics class in high school. I took a mechanical class in high school. And I'm going to say those things to say this. In those classes, especially the mechanical class, those kids pretty much said, you don't belong here. And I'm just telling y'all the truth. Those are the things that I had to go through in a lot of classes. And I remember one of them, before class even started, I'm sitting here and another buddy beside me, they all gathered around us in that class, which pretty much telling us we don't belong here, you know? And that was in the 10th grade because vocation was in the 11th and 12th grade. And that was an electronics class, and I did pretty good. I made about a B in that class. And I remember talking to that same buddy, trying to get him to go over to the vocational school with me to take these electrical classes. And he didn't want to do it. So I said, well, I'm not going to do it by myself. So I didn't do it. You know, and so coming out of high school, I'm going to get back to the teacher. This was that same year, 10th grade, where, like I said, I made straight A's in that class. Straight A's. I wasn't good in English. I barely graduated. I mean, I think I had like a D just from graduating overall. And I did some stupid, I'm going to tell you how stupid I was in certain class. One, I took accounting. I had, and I hope y'all hear, I'm 48, getting ready to turn 49 here in a little bit. I had literally, I had a B in accounting. I liked this girl. It was in another class. And they told me I could not switch unless I was flunking this class. So what did I do? 16 years old. You know, and I love my mom to death, but she can only do so much. So there wasn't a whole lot of mentoring to me. There was no mentoring. I had to choose my friends out on the streets to do that. So I literally, before that semester was over, I flunked that class just so I can go to another. I did the same thing in, well, I didn't do the same thing, but almost the same, but it was a girl. I took Spanish. I was sitting there, I was doing good, but I talked too much. Can y'all believe that? I talked too much. The teacher moved me away from her, and I was upset. So what happened? I flunked Spanish. So those are just little things that I did that was stupid growing up as a child. But like, I'm going right back to that teacher. She kept that thing so entertaining for everybody. And she'd make it, not in the sense of I'm better than you competitive, but in the sense of I want to be, you know, at the top of the class or something like that, you know. And it helped me. It helped me a lot. It helped me through geometry, and I'm going right back to my little high school attitude. In the 12th grade when I took Algebra 2, and I felt like the teacher wasn't treating me right, and I went, damn. You know, and I don't know I don't even remember what I made in that class. Maybe a D, I don't know. I don't even know if I passed it. can't remember. But besides all that, I decided not to go to college because I got tired of school. And it wasn't just, it was everything. Kids, everybody, where you raised up at, I mean, everything affects you. And there's a lot I can say, but I'm not going to, but I did a lot of things I should not have been doing, said that away, at the age of 18. And you have to wise up pretty quick. Been in jail maybe 3 or 4 times my entire life. And I think the last time I was in jail was at the age of 28. And I had just had a little girl, illegitimate little girl. And that kind of woke me up a little bit, because if I'm in jail, who's going to take care of her? I'm getting emotional. So, and I'm skipping a lot of things, y'all, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I decided at the age of 28 that I'm stop clubbing, I'm stop going out, I'm stop doing all of that old mess, because it wouldn't get me nowhere but in trouble. That's all I was doing. It took me that long to recognize that. And I'm trying to talk to my girls now, 20, 21. I mean, they're doing good, don't get me wrong. One's in the military. She decided to, fight for our country. The other one's in her 3rd year of college as being a lawyer. So they're both doing good, and I thank God for that. But I wasn't that wise myself, because I did a lot of stuff. I did. And I don't want to share it all, but at the age of 28, 29 was my last time I got in trouble with the law. And I'm going to back up a little bit. So at the age of 18, I did try to get me a good job, everything, for the first 2 years, because in my mind I was thinking, well, they say it's a 4-year degree, so I was investigating whether I want to go to service. I don't want to go to college because I sucked in English. I was bad in English. And I did not want to do that, because everybody said, you have to do English. You have to. I said, I'm not going to no college. And so I found ITT. At that point in time, you didn't need English. The only thing you really need was what? Math. And that fell right in my path. So at first I'm like, I'm going to see if I can find me a good job, and I did not find me a job good enough for me not to go to ITT. So at the age of 20, I went to ITT and got me an associate's degree. And I thought at that point in time, it was the same degree as a 4-year degree, because the way they explain things, the way that I understood it anyway. Well, you get your degree and compare it to them getting their degree in 4 years, you get yours in 2 years. I said, all right, that sounds good to me. And as long as I done it, and I did do that. Had a few jobs before that, and I'm gonna get to Toyota too, because I got a job, wasn't a high-paying job. I worked on television here in this area when Emerson Radio was here, because I was living in Henderson, Kentucky. Got another job in Henderson, Kentucky at Eaton Axle, and then I think Dana bought them out several years back before after I came here. And so I'm at Eaton Axle, just working the line, and one of the maintenance person, which I didn't know what that was, came to me and asked me would I like to apply for this maintenance position, because I gave them my resume and things of that nature. And they had to explain to me what maintenance was. And so even today, a lot of people do not really understand what maintenance is. How demanding and how skill demanding it is. And he had explained to me, and of course I applied for it. Didn't get it the first time. Someone more senior than me got it, but the second time I did. And that really helped me, because they sent me to school for 3 years apprenticeship program, back to that same vocational school that I missed when I was a kid. Ended up getting those classes anyway. And that helped me a lot as far as these diverse skill sets. There was one place where you have unions and they have you doing a particular skill set. This one did not, even though there was a union. You had all those skill sets. They tried to get you at all the skill sets, which helped me tremendously coming here. And I developed a little chip on my shoulder, thinking I knew what I was doing, until I came to Toyota. Because Toyota is very high tech, and I didn't come from an area that was that high tech, and I had to really learn a lot of things here. And what's so good about this place is that people are willing to help you. You know what I'm saying? We don't try to just say, okay, you go fix that and you're on your own. You know, we got radios. We communicate to each other. We say, hey, I'm down. If it's something I ain't seen before, and I know it's going to take me a long time, I'll call for help almost instantly. You know, if it's a piece of equipment that I'm not as familiar with, I'll call for help almost instantly, and people are on their way. You know, no one just leave you out there to fall. And after a breakdown, we get together and we'll talk about that breakdown. What can we do to improve our situation and things of that nature? So I really like it here. I like the environment. I like how the people treat you. And like I said, I could have told a little bit more because they put me on the spot about my little sob story, but everybody's got their own story. And my main thing on this is that how did you get from point A to point B? You know, are you going to take all that negative that happens in your life and go negative with it, or are you going to take all that negative that happened in your life and go positive with it? It took me a little bit of time to really see what I needed to do to make it, but I did, and I thank God for that. I really do. But Toyota has helped me as a person a lot, because I had it in the back of my mind also. These are some things I hadn't said before. I had it in the back of my mind because I had it growing up. I don't belong, I don't belong, I don't belong. And it's still there. I'm telling you, I'm 48 years old, it's still there. And there's situations where I'm around people, and I'm just like, I'm non-sociable. Everybody don't think I am. If you know me, I'm sociable, because he's back and shaking and say, yeah, you sociable. Because he knows me. So we worked together for a long time. Once you get to know me, I'm the biggest talker, the biggest jokester around. But if you don't know me that way, I'm quiet to myself. But when I get around people that I don't really know, my main thing in the back of my head is how they treat me. Not about, because I have missed so much stuff trying to learn something that should be my priority, but in the back of my mind, I'm out here thinking in the back of my mind, how they treat me. Are they treating me right? Are they talking to me right? And it was blocking a lot of stuff. It was, how did I find this out? Because one guy, he was explaining something to me, and the only thing that was in my mind is, how's he treat me? How's he treat me? I mean, not the exact word, but you understand what I'm saying. I mean, here at Toyota. And then in the middle of that statement, he said, Kerry, you're not listening to me. And it just snapped. And I'm like, I really wasn't listening to him. And so he started explaining to me again, and it was like 10 minutes of trying to explain something, and it only took about 30 seconds, and I understood it. You understand what I'm getting at? It was that mental block that I had to overcome, you know, to me to really have a better learning education here. And they learn me like crazy. Always learning something. Always. I mean, if a person wants to learn something, this is a good place to be. It really is. If I can continue on out, and my mouth is getting dry, so I'm going to shut up. But I like it here. Apparently, I've been here for almost 18 years, and I don't have a plan to go anywhere. I decided to stay where I'm at. I'm still at the lowest level. I decided to stay where I'm at. I could have advanced a long time ago, but I chose not to. And she was saying about the money, the last 3 or 4 years, I haven't made under $100,000. And I'm at the lowest level. I know y'all heard that one. Last several years, I have not made under $100,000, so.
You just asked me questions.
Any questions? All right. I like questions, y'all. Don't leave me out here. Chris Melvin, I called him out. Oh, thank you. I am super dry.
So yeah, any questions at all?
Please.
You said maybe it was in 10th grade that people told you no and that you didn't belong. Fellow students, why? I mean,
Why? Directly because I was black. Me and in one class, I was the only black person. Another class, me and him was the only black. And they gathered around us in those tables, the whole class. And one of that teacher was out there in the hallway, just looking like this. They didn't. They was gonna beat us up. I'm just telling you straight forward truth. Anybody?
You talked a bit about the mental block that you had, and do you have any words of advice for people working with young people, teachers, counselors, mentors, about how we can help the kids that we're serving get past their mental blocks? I think most young people, especially if they've been through trauma and difficulty, have a mental block. So how do we help them get past that?
I think one of the biggest things, you have to get friendly with them and understand their past. not in the sense of agreeing with their past, but understanding their past so that you can relate with what they've gone through. And then you're gonna have to figure out what you can do to try to get them on a better path. You know, I mean, socialism is very good, and I'm learning that still now. You know, socialism is very good. And if you can really understand where they came from and what they're trying to overcome, then you can possibly be able to help them in their situation. Someone else was going to raise their hand up.
Where do you think your resilience came from when you said you went to jail 3 or 4 times? It sounded like you continually kind of went down one path until you were 28 or 29.
So, me not having a father figure was a major thing, and me not recognizing that he was a fighter pretty much took me to that same path. And most of the time I went to jail was from fighting. Now, 3 times that I can recall, but I got in a lot of fights growing up, especially after high school. Just the idea that, because what was in the back of my mind, positive and negative, the lack of the father and the lack of the father, both positive and negative, got me out on the streets, but it also said to me, I didn't want to. Forgive me.
No, sorry. I tell him it's inspiration.
I didn't want to be just like that. I didn't want my kids to be raised up without no father. So that was a positive thing on my side, trying not to be or live the same way I was raised.
Thank you. I told you it was gonna be inspirational, so he's just one of many that, we've all been here, and, it's like a family, so. Anyway, we thank you very much.